Are you looking to grow your business and your mindset alongside a fun and awesome pack? Grab a chair and your favorite beverage and join Mike Ashebrainer, the business mechanic, and his win-win network for the Hounds of Business Happy Hour.
And dance, and dance,
Yeah.
and dance.
I'm multitasking, which is a bad idea. I heard you LinkedIn play my intro again, and I'm like, it's gee whiz.
There's always gonna be a delay.
Yeah.
There's always a delay, right?
Yeah, always one in here too. So how's everybody doing? How are you, man? Happy New Year! Look, 2024, unbelievable. Golly, man, it feels like just yesterday we were all mad in 2020. So I guess 2024 is just good by default because it's not 2020. There you go. So how was your New Year and everything going, man?
It's going great, dude. I was wondering, like, why am I feeling Christmas still? Apparently, I hit the button talking to Chason backstage. You guys should have told me I had the Christmas music playing in the background.
Shit, dude, I didn't know.
Hey.
I can't hear nothing. I can hear us talking, but I can never hear the clapping and all that stuff on your soundboard or nothing else. It's weird. I don't know.
Oh, that's too
All right.
funny.
So,
oh my God, that's too funny. I have to say it right now. Yeah, Scott Raven, those are the bells and whistles. That is hilarious. I think I'm just going to keep that for the rest of the year.
oh gosh. So tell us about your celebration. What was great about 2023? What you're excited about in 2024, man?
Man, look, as we all know, and those that don't know, I parted ways with my business partner in 2022 and went solo for 2023 and launched the business of Brilliant Bee Media. And it's been an incredible, like, for lack of a better term, as we all know as entrepreneurs, roller coaster ride, right? And though I wasn't starting like from pure scratch, I carried over a lot of clients. It was definitely an adventure and then some. And you know what's fun about that is mistakes were made. Trust was probably misplaced in certain individuals. But you know what? It's a learning lesson. So you just have to come back bigger, more brilliant, right? And a brighter beam of light, which was my word of the year last year, was light. And so this year, it's because I'm such a music person and all that light, it still resonates into the next year. So that's my big word of the year, sir. So yeah, my summary it's been rocking and rolling. It's been amazing. We've been met a lot of folks, especially our guests that we'll have. And I'm happy to be here. What about you, Mike?
I love it. No, I love it because I did the same thing. I said, well, I'm out. And then you were leaving at the same time I was leaving my previous business and, partnerships. And we formed fabulous things together, man. And I am tremendously and forever grateful for all that you guys have done, man. You, the core, the OGs, dude, Raquel, Jody, all of them, man. And then look at what happened this year. It's just insane, man. We got the Profits in the house. Those guys blown up, people love them. The Canadian Bert and Ernie's, just pulling out great stories, people's real life shit. It's just great. So one of the things I want to do, and you might want to put this on the screen. I want to know, everybody in the audience, man, Happy New Year. What is your word? And this, I don't try to be contrarian, but I don't like these trends. But ever since I read the book, One Word, it really made sense to me, and everybody's kind of caught on to it. So I like to, everybody in the audience, everybody in the comments, network, chat, bring in the new year, get to know each other. No pitch slap with a P, but follow each other, talk to each other, ask questions. Chason is a great guy. Man, I can't wait to share him with you. But tell us what your new year, share your experiences past, what you expect in the future, in your one word. And it could be more than one. We're not getting graded on. There's no money on this, right? Right, Sia? No money. Yeah, so you can have a couple words.
Look, I have a lot of choice words. Wait. I got some choice words. Let me tell you, my friend. But no, I think, did you arrive at your word of the year?
I did. Should I just make sure let's see how many people care enough to stay for 20 minutes until I tell them. If I tell them now, they might leave. That's a stupid word. Let's see.
You're so silly. You're a silly Billy. Hey,
silly
at least
guy.
that we know that in the start of 2024, you have not changed with your silly Billy-ness of it all. And speaking of silliness, let's talk about the silliness.
Oh, goodness gracious. This little happy, spoiled hillbillies, man. It's funny because the big girl on the right, my biggest hillbilly, Levin, she is me. right? And then, yeah, whatever you want to call it, God, universe had mercy, and then this one acts like mama, the little one. So we lucked out. That's why we stopped at 2 because we didn't know what 3 would be. Oh my God, right? So this one here, you could give her a empty a box of pencils and she would be happy, dude. Like she doesn't care. This she flops her arms like she's trying to fly over everything. So it was just a good time, right? It was great. It, it I think what I got to give credit to is the hounds and you and everybody else around me. It was I went to my families and I used to avoid it. I honestly tried to use COVID as excuse, but 10 years later you can't. But I came with a different attitude. I've been around winners and coaches and really soaked up a lot of stuff, right? And didn't realize how much I matured. And it was amazing that I came in with the better attitude and we had a great time. Nobody acted weird. Everybody was good. We had a good old time with the family. And it just goes to show you when you're around winners, you're seeking wisdom, you're around people that are like-minded, you're learning from others, man, you can grow. And just like you were saying, it's painful sometimes, but we don't grow in comfort. We grow in challenge. And the people that we are today, the people that we were when we met couldn't be where we're at today. We had to grow, right? I know I'm getting deep, but it's the truth. And so I just sincerely want to thank everybody, man, for the good times, the challenges, the support, all of it, because here we are better and we have big vision. All right. And that's why Chason's on for the start of the year. This guy's had vision. Me and him was building at the same time, right? All of us, me, you, and him. And it's just amazing to kind of see what happens full circle. So we're going to talk about all that. But um, I'll spill the beans before we bring Mr. Chason up. I, I don't really choose the word. Like I'll try to choose a word, but then a word will pop up. I think it's alignment, aligned or alignment. That's it.
Oh.
Used to be intention. Now it's aligned. So that's the question is like, why am I doing what I'm doing? What is this going to be? How do you decide on X, Y, and Z? Well, if you're aligned, right? Is it values, people? It doesn't matter. It just makes sense because that way you're intentional. Does that make sense? You know where
100%.
you're going, why? You don't take it personal. You're just trying to put a path out there. You're just trying to go after that goal. So, look at all these people here. Look at that. Kenny D. I finally get to see Kenny. The LinkedIn guys do not want me and Kenny D to talk because I got on there late New Year's and there was a member, couldn't see him. And I heard him. I was like, wait a minute, is this Kenny D? And we got to talk because of Oli. I think it was Oli's audio room. So good to see you, Kenny. Ken Dunner, man, you're awesome. Dean LeBay, wow, look at all this. Gee whiz. I'm gonna sit here and just read the script. Just goofy. So what are you looking forward to in the upcoming year? Like you already did the hard work, you already done all this stuff, you made it. Like now what?
I don't think anyone's ever truly made it, sir. I don't think there's ever like a true end goal of like saying, "Oh, I've accomplished this. I'm done. Deuces." Right? I think
You're not
Scott
working at Burger
Ravensburg.
King.
So Scott Raven with capitalize. I love that. So, capitalize on
Nice.
your successes and expand upon it, right? Because there's always opportunity. And when you're looking for opportunity, there's opportunity for collaboration, right? So, LinkedIn user, I'm sorry, we don't know who you are. It's a privacy setting, so we just can't see it on LinkedIn. And by the way, for those who are on mobile devices, I apologize. It's a LinkedIn issue. So we will see your comments after the fact, and we're so sorry, but please keep commenting because folks will see it on LinkedIn, just not on our stream. So yes, it is straight up a LinkedIn issue. But Isabel, queen of collaboration, so thrilled to have met, Isabel. I mean, look at all these folks here. Danielle. And by the way, is it Manawa? How do you say your last name, Danielle? I've always wanted to know. But I think it's beautiful. I think it's Manawa. Nah? Yeah? No?
Oh, no, you're not asking me. I'm a broken speaking spell. Yeah. No,
Oh, well, we know Dean's is potato. Everyone knows that, right? So.
Right. Hey, and by the way, if you want to be able to comment, go to the YouTube. I put it in my channel. It's just Hounds of Business on YouTube, and you'll see the live stream. Because I really want you guys to chime in. I want you to ask questions, talk about it, man. Have fun. This is laid back. We're all tired, right? It's been a big year. We had holiday. Just shooting the stuff and just learning about some great people. So, hey, I'm that's all I got to ramble about. That's a good sign. New Year. That's like 10 minutes less than normal. No shit. So, you ready? You want to bring him on?
I am. I'm
Sweet.
trying to follow all the directions you're telling me to do, sir. And it's hard for me to type and do all this stuff and get my microphone out of the way and stuff. So my apologies. Let us,
No, I'm
without
just trying
further
to help.
ado.
I'm trying to help you get to those bags of chips, man. I know you're hungry. You're a busy lady, man.
I know. But okay, let us bring on our guest, Mr. Chason Forehand.
I love that. That's better than mine. That's better than the one I use on our podcast and stream. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Well, that's
I
a
don't hear it.
soundboard, so blame it on the soundboard.
I don't hear it. So every time she does that, I have to watch facial expressions to realize when it's over. I'm just like,
I say that I'm going to find a Viking one. I don't know that it exists, but I'm going to find one that's like some Viking cheering chant thing where they all say skull at the end of it, but I haven't found it yet.
Oh, I'm sure where there's a will, there is always a way to get a soundbite, my friend. I have faith in you, sir.
There we go.
So, wait a minute. I'm clicking wrong buttons again. Wow. I wanted to do this right in 2024. Gee whiz. All right. So Chason, man, you're a good guy. Let me tell the people the backstory real quick. Guys, again, chime in, ask questions, talk about your one word for the year, talk about your past experience in the comments. We love it. Go to our YouTube channel, Hounds of Business. So Chason, how long ago was it, man? Did we meet last year? Or I think we met like a year and a half or longer, right?
Yeah,
Mike?
it was early in 2020. It was in 2022 because we were just coming out with our website and stuff like that. So middle of 2022, because it was part of. Oh, now I'm going to have a senior moment. I can't remember the group. Good grief. The other Mike was on all the time, and he kept getting kicked off of LinkedIn. They kept getting mad at him. SPN. That was the name of the group. Yes.
Yeah. You know,
that's where I met Dina and a lot of other people. Yeah, there's a fantastic group of people. Deb, Dina. There's a lot of people that are still in your group and in this group, this collective of fantastic people that we met during those times. So.
Oh yeah. And again, you know, people, you just have to be good people. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe you can help me. So when you and I met, we met in that group. We kind of separated when our berserker friend kind of got, went MIA, and then we reconnected. And when we reconnected, I was pretty much picking up the baton where he left off, right? I was like, well, nobody else is here. How can the blind lead the blind unless somebody plays the dog, right? So I'm like, there you go. That's where the hounds came from. It's like nobody knows.
I love it.
So in that regard, it's funny because there's so many people. I mean, just because you're not, again, aligned, to state a theme on the word thing, just because you're not at the moment doesn't mean you can't be. And I think people lose that. They forget that. Yeah. It's not like that's one of the secrets to the hounds is that I met people. We didn't even like it. Not me and you did, but I mean, some people I didn't even like, they didn't like me, but we hung in there. And then 3 months later, 6 months later, good things happen. And I think that speaks a lot about our hearts, our community, why you're a good fit and why your organization is good, because it's just a bunch of good-hearted people. And I'm going to spill the beans and I want you to speak to it. I think you're like me. You have a passion, you have a mission, but you don't go trying to figure out how to fix the mission. What I've seen you do, whether you're aware of it or not, similar to what I did, you try to find good-hearted people that you just like and you see value in, right? Different types of personalities, but they're good people. And you try to build around them. You try to stick them where they belong, right? So you're not full of a bunch of people who will kiss your butt. You're actually putting people in different places that challenge you.
Absolutely.
And you may not get along, but they're the right person for the right job because the mission and the social justice and these kind of things and equity is important, right? So did I get it right?
No, I absolutely agree with you. Again, we went at the time that I met you, we had 8 partners. And we had just launched our website, and now we have 75 and growing. And it's really not about the number, but it's about the quality of the people and how they believe in the mission, vision, and purpose. And that's really what it's about for us in that grassroots. When you're a grassroots advocacy group, it's about those people coming together. The amazing thing to me, I think what warms my heart even more than watching the numbers grow is watching how they interact with each other and start forming their own, collaborations and start doing things that just are like, wow, I didn't set that up. I just, we brought in these people and they just started talking to each other, and now they're doing podcasts together and doing streams, and that is the amazing thing, because at the end of the day, we want to create actionable change. And that comes through having people that believe in your mission, vision, and purpose.
Yeah, well said. And I'll say it backwards like Porky Pig, but let me think about it. Quantity through quality, right? Like I've even noticed that at certain points, especially now, we're hitting the brakes on the hounds. It's like, well, we're not growing, but we grew like 50 people in like 2 weeks. And it was like, think about it this way. And I want you to chime in about this, and then we'll get into the details. But it's like I woke up every day with a family of 3 in my house. The next day I woke up with a family of 200. Well, now I'm not a family, I'm a school now. Like, now you got to get buildings and people, and, like, it's a different ball game. It's like Jeff Bezos trying to run Amazon by himself. It can't happen. And so there's a lot of growth. And so when we were running around talking about how hard it was in the beginning, what's your experience is because my take on it is we're just graduating better problems. Like the problem was we didn't know what we were doing and we were trying to get support. And then the problem was people believed it, and we wasn't, now we got to put stuff in place. Like there's always a secondary problem. Like people say, well, I want to eliminate my problems. Just better problems. I've never eliminated problems. I just had better problems, right? Because I don't have enough money. Well, now I got money. I got to figure out how not to pay too much taxes and stuff, right? So what is your experience? What's your reflection on that? When you look back to, oh my gosh, how can I do this? Well, here you are. Like, now you got different problems. Like, where are you now when you reflect back on the last year or two?
Really, I like to look at it as challenges. And yeah, as we grow, we have different challenges, things that we want to do and that we need to do to create actionable change. But I think the amazing thing is watching how people develop themselves, watching how the programs grow and how they develop, and then seeing how we can take what's happening and project that forward to create even more impact. Because that's my word for the year is impact. I want to be intentional and have great intentionality about every single thing we do and make all the steps count. And I'm terrible. I am terrible at being so hard on myself and not giving myself grace. We had several people in the Hounds today that had great posts about this, and I'm terrible about giving myself grace. About really being okay with minor steps when I wanted to take larger steps. And this is a learning curve. It's a learning curve to do a startup in this fashion and do it completely different than everybody else does it. We're doing things a different way and being intentional about that difference and being excited about being different so that we can make sure that at the end of the day, we are meeting our mission, vision, and purpose, and we are being intentional about creating actionable change. And a shout out, thank you everybody who is here today, Nor and so many other people that are in the audience. I keep seeing it pop up and my brain can't work that fast, but I am so thrilled that you're here to support the Hounds and to find out what we do. And I am thrilled to let you know and to tell you, give you the 411 on what hr4u.org does.
Yeah. Excuse me. I love that word. And that's the word I would have picked for you if you asked, was impact. Because my word for years was intentional. You know why? Because I wasn't intentional. That's why it was the word, right? So, and I saw that in you. I think that's what attracted people to you, right? Yeah, the mission, but they had faith in you. They saw your heart. They saw, someone trying to do the right thing. And I was blown away when I saw, a year and a half later who you had around you. and then be honored that I and the Hounds could be a part of that. And here's the fun part. The Hounds has not had an official nonprofit or charity or anything that we have supported before. So this is really exciting that we're actually saying, hey, we're breaking in the new year, supporting something that is, kind of hand in glove with us, right? And
That's
so,
awesome.
yeah. And so let me, because the people might be like, okay, it's great. What the hell is it, right? So what do you do? What is HR for you, Chason? What's it all about, man?
Yeah, you know what? The easiest thing to say is that we are an advocacy group that is moving to make sure that everyone in every community has a living wage. And the way we do that is by highlighting people first. So whether you're an employer with one employee or an employee, you've got 5,000 employees, or you're an author, a podcaster, a coach, a consultant, you're a collaboration of like minds like the Hounds. Our whole focus is to bring people together, to shout out what they're doing, to create change, what's working, what's not working, and how we can stop this madness of all these layoffs and all these people without jobs, and be in an environment where there's more jobs than there are people to fill them, yet there are so many people that have been out of work for 6 months or more. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it doesn't make any sense why 1/3 of the United States makes less than a living wage. It doesn't make any sense. And in my neck of the woods in New York, 50% of the workers make below a living wage. That has to change. And it's not going to change by the traditional methodology that we're using currently. And I love other nonprofits. I support them. You'll see them be part of what we do, but we've got to have more actionable change that is going to create the means for us to move forward and in this issue. So what we are is an advocacy group, and we have a lot of programs. We have 6 different programs to move the needle forward and to create change. And our most aggressive program is the one that I've been talking about on and on and on, that we want to get off the ground by the end of 3rd quarter, beginning of 4th quarter, and that's called Transformation Kitchen. And that is a production kitchen that not only teaches culinary skills and life skills to underserved communities, but they make a living wage at the end of their journey, whether they're working for the kitchen itself and helping us teach others, or they are working for our culinary partners. They make a living wage. They don't go out into the universe after that training and make $15 an hour. So we get to show businesses how you can make a profit and still pour into your people. We get to show underserved communities. We get to empower them and help them. And this is where we put the rubber to the road. So all the other programs that we are doing leads up to this. And I mean, it's a lot, but dude, I'm excited. I'm excited about it.
You are. And I'm not going to look, you've had a hard couple days and weeks and things going, and here you are, just like me. Like people say, you need to take a nap. You're not feeling good. You're tired. You can't. Look, people count on us, and we're so passionate about what we do. We can't. Like we'll hop out of a hospital bed and start talking about our mission. And I think that's what it's about. And I think that's what attracted people to you. Like you said, hey, let's talk. And I'm like, absolutely. I didn't care what the hell you want to talk about. I just want to talk to you because I know who you are, right? I know what you stand for. And it just so happened that it was hand in glove. So let me ask the question. Guys in the audience, people, ask questions. This is your show, man. But let me ask you this. When you said all that, my buddy and I was talking the other day. And he said, how does somebody not earn $20 an hour nowadays? Like with inflation and all the things going on, how do you not pay somebody at least 20? And I said, honestly, I agree with that. This is maybe in the 70s, right? Maybe. But when you brought up all these things about living wages, how there's more jobs, but people can't fill them and they're not paying enough. What are some of the things that your organization has identified? Because this is a huge thing, and not to get in the weeds, but what are some of the key things? I mean, it could be political, it could be a lot of things, but what are the things that you could hone in on and say, these are things that we need to address as a society?
Well, there's 2 things I want to do. One, I just happened to see the chat because the chat's going so fast. But David Hansen asked a great question that I want to address, and there may be others, so you can just point them out. But to answer your question directly, we focus in on what's working, not what's not working, because I don't want to spend my time in court fighting people who say, "Oh, you're slandering us," or "You're taking." You're running down our company, or you did damage to what we are as an entity because of your podcast or whatever. We want to focus in on what works. So we focus in on the partners that we have that are teaching leadership skills, or that are employers that are leading by paying people a living wage and putting people first. Those kind of mentality of putting people first in the work that they do. So that, to me, is what we focus all our efforts on. A lot of what we do is about communication, about having the podcast, the live streams, being on shows like this, where we can talk to people and say, hey, when you do X, this is going to happen. There are a lot more smart people that are a lot smarter than this scarred up old hockey dude, that have done research in Forbes magazine, Money magazine, Harvard Business Review, that have all of this data that show when you pour into people and you take care of them and you create safe spaces, guess what? You're going to make more money, because they're going to be more productive. They're going to stay longer. You're going to retain. You're going to have higher retention. All of these things it's not rocket science. And it's been going on for a long time. But to answer, I'm going to segue now to David Hansen's question. How do you teach millionaires and billionaires not to be greedy and to care about putting people first and having a living wage?
Real talk.
I will tell you that that's not my focus. And I don't know that you can, because I don't know that a billionaire or a millionaire really cares, even if they're giving away 5% of their profits to charity. That's a drop in the bucket for them. They don't really care. Changing the mentality to get leaders, because there are more small to medium-sized businesses in the world than there are these giant corporations. Getting more people to understand the value of pouring into people and putting people first, I think, is a larger win. Because I think if you get the guy who runs the local, who's got the local franchise down the road to understand that mentality and to start creating that change, he's going to make more change in the local community. It's going to have a rippling effect where others see it, and he's part of the chamber, and all these other things happen, and other people start to do it. And I think that's where the win is, when you get the small businesses and the medium-sized businesses to all start to do this. There's more of us than there are of them being the giant corporations and the millionaires and billionaires. Because how many of, and that's the 1%, that's the 0.5%. So the rest of us, the 98%, the 99% of us, if we can convince leaders that this is going to create more business for them by just listening to their people, by including their people, by having safe spaces, by doing the work to engage and retain and be part, they are going to see huge influx of capital and work and retention and engagement and all of these positive things that are going to affect their bottom line and going to affect more than just the company and their people. It's going to affect communities and change some of the socioeconomic woes that are going on within the individual communities. And that's the huge win in my mind. So I hope that answers that, David, because that's where we think.
Golly, man. I tell you, so, I mean, again, it's a holistic approach, right? You're not just trying to feed people. And that's where you and I connected. I was a leader of a nonprofit, and we were giving food and we were helping, but it was handouts, man. It wasn't hands up. And I came along crazy like you and said, hey, what if we connected and got people that want to be off dependency, independent?
Yep.
And I said that. I mean, I went to a chamber like you, and I said, well, I'm trying to help the people of the community buy all the crap you're trying to sell in this room. Everybody looked at me like, did he say that? And then one man walked up and was like, let's talk. The rest of them thought I was nuts and I never got invited back. Right. So based on that, like what is the, because I love your uniqueness. You could cookie cutter it. You could, go pull a model out and duplicate services, but you're not looking to duplicate. You're looking to innovate. Right. So, and when it comes to the holistic, how did you get that? Before we go into the mission a little bit more, what made you say, hey, we're going to do it the harder way? We're going to find something that's not really being tapped into. Like, what was that, just a heart thing in you and then other people affirmed it? Or how did that come about where you're like, I'm going to take this on, like, and I'm going to do this a unique way?
I will tell you that nobody affirmed it. There were a lot of moments of self-doubt and, trying to work through some of the mission, vision, and purpose, because there were a lot of people, especially when I first started. I reached out to a lot of different organizations that were supposedly working in the living wage space, and it was a bloodbath. They were not excited about this crazy Hoggy dude showing up. I got a lot of times, you're just muddying the waters. And I'm like, okay, well, I appreciate that. I'm going to take all this in. I'm going to take it all in, and I'm going to continue to do what we think is the right way to hit this path. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, I think what ends up happening, 75% of all new nonprofits, especially startup nonprofits, die in the first 5 years. They complete the universe. And especially when you get to 501c3s, which in the United States are some of the hardest to get. They are a tax exempt organization that has to go through a lot of scrutiny.
Yeah.
I will say that we purposely took the hardest route so that we could show how intentional we are. We could show that we are transparent. We put everything out online. You can go to our website. You can see budgets. You can request stuff there's nothing that's hidden. And I think that puts us in a place where we can continue to grow and be intentional about that growth and show people a different way. And one of the other things that I really encourage other nonprofits, and I talk about a lot, is that collaboration between nonprofits. It doesn't matter to me whether or not you're a nonprofit that works on getting more widgets in the world. I just respect the fact that you're trying to do something good. And what matters to me is, let's find that commonality in that space that we can, I can help you. Maybe it's something that we're just going to meet and talk about, about our struggles and how we get through them and our challenges. And I think that is key, because a lot of nonprofits will just block out everybody else and say, no, we've got to focus on ourselves. We've got to focus in on how much money we make. And it's so tough to get grants. And so we're going to push everybody else away. And we're with open arms. We purposely in November, instead of calling out to Giving Tuesday and making it about us, we purposely talked all month long about other nonprofits. And that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I think it's important that you set a tone that you care about other people and that you care about collaboration and that you care about doing things differently.
Dude, I love that. That's why we resonated, right? That's because I did the same thing. I said, why? We're all asking for the same money to buy the same stuff. What if we just become a resource bank and started So I started doing grants with 5 different organizations. You want to get the nonprofits liking you. Yeah. Well, hey, if we hang out with these people, we get free stuff, right? That's a no-brainer. So on that note, man, I have to ask, what, well, first of all, I mean, because I think people want to know, are you geographically bound, or, who can help and how can they get involved? So where can, does it matter where they live? And then how can people get involved?
We have people in, I think, 4, 5 different countries now that are helping us, or that are collaborating with us, partnering with us. So no, you don't have to, it doesn't matter where you are. What matters is that you care about putting people first, and whatever the work is that you're doing emulates that. I can see it in the work that you're doing, whether you're teaching people how to have more grace, whether you're doing SEO work, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you put people first. It can be seen in the work that you're doing, and we can show that to other people so that they can emulate that. And so we've got people from all over the United States and from other countries that do business in the United States. Since we are based in the US, we're based technically in New York, and we are trying to get the first transformation kitchen here in my home backyard, but we see that as a franchise that we do in every major city and every major country, because who couldn't use that? And you could expand on that. I had a conversation with a guy today where you could expand on getting outside of just culinary and teaching other skills, get other people in to teach other skills that we can do in the same arena. So
people love passionate winners, man. I mean, it's just simple. And when you do it once, you've already done it. So the only difference between you doing it once and doing it 50 times across the nation and 500 times is support, right? So based on that, there's people, individuals, professionals, but there's also companies. Break that down to us. So if you're a person, how can you help? And if you're a company or organization, how can you get involved? Because you kind of bridge the gap there.
Well, sure. Well, we have 4 different kinds of partnerships. One is a sponsorship. Sponsorship is more in line with give and take. We're getting something, whether it's an in-kind donation or a financial donation to what we do for some sort of service that we can provide. And that is usually in the form of either networking, videos, having our sponsorships where we work on actually talking about what the company does and their value and how they put people first. We also have what we call employer partners and leader partners. Employer partners are obviously they have at least one employee, and they can show that they pay a living wage and they put people first. Leader partners are everyone else, whether it's authors, podcasters, coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, it does not matter, but they prioritize people. And their entire premise, whether they're teaching it and they believe it, both usually happens that they not only believe it, but they're teaching it. They prioritize putting people first, and they fit into that category. That's the largest part of our partnership group. And they come from all different walks of life. And then our other partnership is strategic alliances. And those are strategic alliance partners are people from other nonprofits, people from other businesses that traditionally maybe are not necessarily what you would think we would collaborate with, but there's some common ground. And again, putting people first. And that commonality and that ground is what we use in order to network with each other, to pool our resources. That's how, with all of these people, that's how we've been able to reach over 500,000 people this last year and increase our communication. That is the way, just by collaborating. So those are the different partnerships, and people can reach out to me, and I'm happy to jump on a call and talk about what it is and what it means and what we do. A lot of what we ask for is networking, and introduce us to people, and we'll introduce you to people and talk about each other and have events like this. So that's really the mainstay of what we do from that standpoint.
I love it. I love it was an idea, Chason. You had an idea. Some people didn't, balked at it, other people, whatever, but you did it anyway. Right. And I think what I admire about you the most, and I'm just saying this because this is true, man, telling you can't do something is like throwing gas on a fire, right? We're the same this way. It's like, if you want to see us fail, sing our praises. That's the best chance you got, because then we'll get a little comfy. But if you start telling us we can't feed people and help people and change lives, then you just woken up the giant, right? Like, don't tell me I can't. And now here you are, right? And you're just starting. And I love your attitude. It's like, well, I haven't arrived. Just like Sia said. It's like now we're at the starting gate.
Yeah.
But boy, this is a marathon, right? Like we're going to do longevity things, huge impact, huge stuff. Man, I'm blown away because I love the way you scale this. People can get involved with no money because every time you turn around, somebody's asking for money, right? But you're saying, hey, check us out. Get to know. It's like dating, right? You just don't walk up. Do you want to have kids? Who are you, right? We didn't even meet yet. You're just saying, hey, check us out. Show up, right? Just be involved. Watch us. And I think that's why it's so appealing. And then people see the folks you got around you, man. I know Noor from back in the day.
Yeah.
Sheena, hopefully I said her name right. Like she's a joy to be around and work with. And these people are busy. The supporters you have are busy professionals, but they make the time because it's important to them. And now they have a place that can coordinate and organize all their efforts, man. So, I know you don't like to get praises, but dadgummit, yeah, take a sip, took long enough. Dadgummit, you earned it because you're a selfless leader, man. So we've got a question. We got some questions that I wanted to get into.
Sure.
Chason as the man. But throw a question up there if you like, Sia. She must be done with her chips. That's good. Hey, all right. Soaring Profits, James. I think it's James. He said, why do you feel the need and drive to create these programs which give back to the world? Man, he just stole my question. I knew these guys. All right, you got to get on their show.
I love the Soaring Profits. I mean, both of the banter between the two guys is amazing. They've had some great people on here, and I got to see Doctor on the last one, and I know she's in here, but they had one of the hounds on here, and I am going to have a senior moment, but she's a doctor, and I just connected with her, and they were going back and forth, and it's incredible. But I will say that this goes back. I'll give you a little history. I come from a very broken family where there's a lot of angst and junk in our childhoods. And me and the gaggle of boys that are in my family, I'm the oldest of a gaggle of boys. And even with all of that, I still am privileged because I look the way I do, because I'm white, and because I came from what is perceived as middle class America, even though we really weren't middle class. And even in that and brokenness, and even in the time periods where I failed as a human being and I didn't care enough about other people, and towards the end of high school and beginning of college where I got addicted to drugs, I still was able to get fired from one place, walk across the street, and get another job as a chef because of the way I look. Where other people would be out on the street and be homeless and have an issue, I realize that I am privileged because of that. And so when you talk about what makes me feel like I need to create this change in the world, is because I've come full circle with being okay with the person that's staring back at me in the mirror. And that took a long time to get to that place. But I'm finally okay with that person and being in a place where I needed to give back, and I needed to correct some wrongs that I see in the world. And I need to be in a place that this last quarter of my life, even though I don't look it, I'm older than I look. I want to be in a place that I am leaving a legacy of change. So what my real goal is, that people don't associate Chason Forehand with hrforyou.org, that hrforyou.org is associated with creating intentional and actionable change. And that is the legacy that continues. And people say something about, hey, who's Chason Forehand? I'll be okay with that, because then I have actually done a good job. So hopefully that answers your question.
Oh man, wow. Great question and amazing answer, Chason. I mean, again, awareness and empathy. You notice something and you just felt compelled to do something about it, man. And that's why you're beloved. That's why people are just all over you and they feel about it. I mean, yeah, somebody could have done it, but you're the one that did it. and other people was inspired by that, man. They related to it. So I love what you said, man. You want us to leave a legacy of change. That's well, when we die, our name dies, but what we do can carry on, man, for a
That's
very,
right.
very long time.
That's right.
And that's what drew me to you. Like, I mean, you could do any kind of nonprofit. I mean, you're going to do good work, but that's what draws me to you. And I think that's what people, they resonate with that, right? Because we make mistakes. You make mistakes. I don't know about you. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. Yeah. So,
I make a ton of mistakes.
But see, that's, yeah. But people don't care because they know who you are in their heart, right? And they have the good heart. So we got a question. I just missed it. It was Nora.
Nora asked why I'm different. And, Nora and I go back about as long as you and I do. And I will say that I think what I pride myself in is exactly what you called out, that in order to be a founder of a 501c3 in the U.S., you have to absolutely have nerves of steel, be able to learn, to fail forward, to not give up ever. I'm not going to give up. And it doesn't matter whatever we accomplish, it's never going to be enough for me because that's just my personality. It's never going to be enough where I set my sights like I want to be way up here. And I did that even from the start. I did that from the start. Like I said, hey, our very first fundraiser, we're going to make X. And we made like a 10th of that, and I spent like a day kind of brooding, and then I'm like, got back on the horse. I'm like, all right, here we go. And now I've learned not to spend a day brooding. I don't have the time to do that. It's like maybe a second of going, okay, that wasn't, so what did we learn? And focus in on what we learned and fail forward and really go.
Right.
But Dean asked an interesting question. Are you using a ghost kitchen? We are not using a ghost kitchen. Our transformation kitchen, we want to get off the ground end of third quarter, beginning of fourth quarter. We've already raised money and we're going to continue to raise money. We're looking at grants, sponsors, and individual donors to help us with this because it takes a tremendous amount of resources, even beyond finances. But we've been very fortunate with people that are committing not only books, but supplies, small wares, etc. We do not have a physical building yet. And that I say because it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? You can have the building, but you're paying rent and all those things, but you got to have a chef and you got to have the assistant chef and you've got to have, the 5 students that you want to start with. So all of these things work simultaneously. It's a huge project, but it's one I've been part of in 2 other organizations. And so my role in all of this is to kind of put all those pieces together so they land at the same time. Physically, we want to look for a small kitchen. That's what we're doing currently is we're looking for a small place. I found one that could work that the city owns, and I'm negotiating with them right now. It is not ideal, but we could make it work. Doctor, there she is right there.
Dr. New. Dr. New.
She was on, I'm sorry, I squirreled there for a second, but she was the one I was listening to. Okay. But yeah, we're looking for a commercial kitchen because that's the only way it really works. We're working to try to make sure that we can adjust the rent through an in-kind donation because they get a tax write-off. But it's an incredible thing trying to convince someone who's a landlord, hey, you can't get the money now, but you're going to have the money later because you're going to have this huge tax write-off. So that's an interesting challenge. But we're working through that. We're looking for all of those things while we also put all the pieces in place.
So is it safe to say that, somebody goes, well, those 3 or 4 things as partners is, I don't know if I can help, but just have a conversation, just get involved because your expertise may be what they need at the moment, right? Like that's what I'm saying.
You don't know until I say this all the time that, I get asked the question all the time, can one person make a difference? And I absolutely believe I absolutely believe that one person can have a huge impact on the world and can have a huge impact on their community and beyond, that can have this rippling effect that just continues. But it takes intentionality. It takes you creating this action and doing to be part, to take that step. And,
Right.
sometimes I don't strong arm. I want people to come willingly, because those people, that's how we had 1,200 volunteer hours, and that our volunteers keep coming back each year. That's how we have so many partners that keep coming, that are in here. I keep seeing some of our partners show up in the stream. Shawana Kennedy, I saw her. I saw Tiffany Castano, and there's others. You talked about Sheena. She's on our board of directors. That's why, because they believe in the mission, vision, and purpose. I didn't strong arm them into being here. I'm not strong arming the 30% of our partners that actually give on a recurring basis each month. It doesn't matter whether it's $5. That all leads to bigger things. So that's huge, because the board of directors and myself pay for all of our administrative costs. So when you donate, to us, every bit of it goes to our programs. Every single dime goes to doing the work that we want to do. That's incredible. And that's why we want to keep doing that.
All right. So we'll pop the QR code, because, people want to donate. People want to get involved. They want to find out. And they just want to learn more. I encourage everybody to follow Chason, to plug in. That's the calling card. Don't say no until you know what the hell you're saying yes and no to, right? Get all the information. You could get all the information and not be passionate, but you'll know somebody who would be passionate. That's what this is all about, right? So we're not done yet. That wasn't a sign to leave, right? I see everybody dropping, think I'm leaving. So while we give people a chance to scan that and to connect, just before we close out a little bit for the next 5 minutes, I want to talk about chasing the man, right? Because it's the man behind him. We talked a little bit, but you do have and remember, this is 2 years ago, so it may have changed, but you have a business called HR Consultants, right?
Yeah, HR Consultations. Yep.
There you go. See, I got the C part right. At least doesn't.
It's
right.
just simple. Yeah, it's simple.
So is that where the inspiration for the name and the whole thing, because you were business, and explain that? So you HR and it was people focused.
I get a little flack. We talked about this prior to the show. I get a little flack for the names. Like, this is not the best name for what you do. It is just the name. Because I believe that I fell into human resources by accident. I was a chef, and I worked in a time period where a lot of human resources was having a come to Jesus meeting by the dumpsters out back. And I had to learn what human resources actually meant, because I was the guy in the restaurant that was given the task of doing some hiring, doing some of the challenging, having some of the complicated and challenging conversations with people, the difficult conversations that the owner or the head chef didn't want to have. I also did a lot of training. So that is my start to learning more about human resources. In 2012, I took on my very first unassociated client, because I had been doing some human resources work on the side with family and friends, people from my church. I'm a person of faith. And so I was doing that. In 2012, I started taking clients that were outside. And I started in 2019 doing a lot more pro bono work. And so really where all of this came from was not only seeing the need and being someone who wanted to see some change, but wanted to see some change within the nonprofit field and within the human resources field. So HR4U was formed in 2022 to be our arm of, we're going to create intentionality and change one person at a time, one leader at a time. And I really, with HR Consultations now has morphed into a business that only works with social good entities. So I only take on clients that are social good entities that are actually doing the work, that want to do the work, that are not box checking. and really understand putting people first. And those are the clients that I take on. I can be very picky about that. So that is really a joy to be able to be in a place where I can choose. And the nonprofit is where I see the long-term entity of what I can create in going from place to place to create not only the transformation kitchens, but put programs in place to create in other cities and other countries the means to empower underserved communities. And that's where the magic is. So,
man, it radiates from you. It absolutely, it's undeniable, man. It's like if you stand too close to something's on fire, you're going to catch on fire too. So if you don't want to catch on fire, stay the hell away from Chason. I'm telling you, because now I'm like, damn, I want to do more. Like, and that's the point. It's just getting the visibility out there. So first and foremost, before I ask this final question, the signature question of the Hounds, I ask it every show. I love it, but I wanted to give a huge shout out to all the people. I love this. This is why you don't have this scarcity mentality, right? We want to take the 2 planets and put them in orbit, right? That the Hounds love the support from you guys, all of you, all amazing, and they embraced you quickly. I mean, most of us knew you. I think at least the OGs did, right? And it was a no-brainer. And all the folks you got, man, it's just amazing to see what happens. So here's the thing. If you're looking for a community, if you're looking to fit in, you're just not even know what the hell you're looking for, right? DM me, DM Chason. He's a Hound too. All the people in here, just reach out, man. We don't want people to be stuck and live a crappy life and not, go out there and take a chance and really live your passion, man. This is what it's about. So we have people, that have made it, right? And they're successful. They're just fishing now. But they want to reach back and help others. And we have people who are just starting off. They're just trying to get the courage to leave their job or start a part-time business. This is what it's about. And we are exploding that in the new wave of the Hounds, right? So we're just being intentional. More of these kind of things are going to happen, guys. So anybody out there trying to find your pack, no more strays, right? You got us, you got Chason, you got the Hounds, you got all these amazing people to connect with. Do that. So any last thing you want to say before I ask this question? Because man, I should just let you.
no,
you just got it, dude. Like,
no, I just appreciate everybody coming out, showing up, and commenting, asking great questions,
Yeah.
and being part of the community and allowing me this time and space. So,
dude, it's amazing. I love it. All the comments, all the people spending their first Wednesday of the new year to support you. They didn't come here to see me, man. They came here to support you. Oh, did Noor say, how often do you all meet? Every day. Are you? I guess she's talking to me because she already knows you, right? And I know Noor. We got a lot cooking. We got more activities cooking. We should have been done, but every time I turn around, Chason, some other amazing opportunity puts a monkey wrench in it. So I'm like, oh, this is what we're going to do in the new year. And then somebody comes along with a giant just pile of opportunity. I'm like, that's a good problem to have. But yeah, we are virtual. We're making a transition. Noor, hey, anybody DM me and I will tell you. I'm having little group calls about this and stuff. So anybody who wants to know more about Chason, hit him up. Anybody wants to know more about the Hounds, hit me up. It's amazing. So I appreciate you guys, everyone out there. Before I ask this final question, so there's a little Chason out there, right? And he wants to do something. He's got this passion, right? Just like you did before it come to fruition, right? What is your best advice to anybody out there who might be stuck, who might be doubting themselves, but they're miserable? They know they want to, but boy, they don't know where to start. They don't have the confidence. What would you say that baby step they could take, Chason?
I think the first baby step is figuring out really what you're passionate about and honing in what you want to do to create that change and make that life happen for yourself. And then going after it and never giving up, just being intentional and whether it's taking classes, whether it's learning, there's a lot of stuff that's free online, and doing whatever you have to get to the place you need to. Don't let there be roadblocks. Don't let people tell you you can't do it. Just go after it and do it. But you've got to know what you want to do first. And you've got to understand what that's going to take. and to start asking questions of yourself and of others around you.
Well said. I mean, on that note, what else can you say, Chason? I'll just mess it up, right? So, guys, if you got something out of this, man, at least tell the man, because of nonprofit leadership, right? I've been there. It can get really, really tough, and we can't complain because then people would probably leave. So, any type of encouragement, if you can't donate time or anything else, just make a comment on his post. Say, hey, man, great job, rooting for you. You can do this. That goes a long way, doesn't it, Chason?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Simple word, because we get busy, we forget. So this is a good time. Go out there. Thank you, everybody. Hey, wanted to give a shout out, of course, to Sia. Yes,
Sia.
BrilliantBeingMedia.com. And look, I ain't doing this. Y'all know I ain't running it. So all the good stuff out there. 2023 was amazing. We have 3 live streams a year and a half ago. Now we got 6 million. We got radio, TV. It's ridiculous. So good job. We appreciate all the folks out there, man. Just have fun. Don't be stuck. You're talking to a guy in a camo hat. Look who I'm surrounded by. Hell, if I can do it, who can't do it? That's all I got to say. And you don't have to do it alone. Me and Chason would be crushing tin cans if we try to do this stuff by ourselves, right? You go out there and just speak. Put yourself out there. Some people are going to boo it. Some people will like it. Some people will change. Who cares? Just go do it. All right. So, yeah, DM me, Hounds, DM Chason. Thank you. Man, just really appreciate you. Appreciate all of you guys. Love you all. And we'll see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, same bat time, same bat channel. You got my support, brother. I appreciate you. Love you, man.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Happy New Year. We'll round it up. See you on the next one. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.